بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ولو قال أنت طالق تطليقة شديدة أو عريضة أو طويلة فهي واحدة باينة. And if we said you are divorced, a severe divorce or a wide divorce or a long divorce, then she will be one باين. لأن ما لا يمكن تداركه يشتد عليه وهو البائن. Because that which making up the loss is not possible, that is severe upon the husband, and that is in the bind. You understand? So, because because that which making it up, in other words, making up for the loss, is not possible. So that is severe upon him. You understand? If you made a mistake and you can cover up that mistake yourself, then it's not so very severe upon you. But if you make a mistake and you can't cover up that mistake unless you seek the help of somebody else, then that is difficult for you now. In this case here, it's difficult for him now because he needs to remarry his wife. And that will only happen with her permission. You understand it? So that is in a bind. A bind is severe upon him. وَمَا يَسْعَبُ تَدَارُكُ يُقَالُ لِهَذَا الْأَمْرِ طُولٌ وَعَرْضٌ. And that which making it up is difficult. So it's also difficult to make this up now. You understand? It is said for this matter there's a length and breadth. In other words, even in English we will say, oh, that's a long story. What do you say? That's a long story. That's something difficult. You understand it? So in same thing in Arabic here. So it's this is something. This matter is a length and breadth. In other words, it's a long story, and therefore it's difficult to just make it up. Right. ونبي يوسف رحمة الله عليه أنه يقع بها رجعية لأن هذا الوصف لا يليق به فيلغم. Now Imam Yusuf Rahmullah says that only one raji will take place with these words here because these descriptions is not suitable for a talaq. In other words, these are not correct wasf and sifats for a talaq, right? So therefore those descriptions will become null and void. ولو نوى الثلاثة في هذه الفصول صحت نيته. And if he intended three in all these cases here, then his niyat will be correct. لتنوع البينونة على ما مر, because of the buying talaq being broken into two types, right? غليظة and خفيفة. So the Ghaliza buying Khafifa will be one buying, and buying Ghaliza will be three. You understand it? وَالْوَاقِعُ بِهَا بَايِنٌ. And what will occur with these words are always going to be buying, because he has explained the talaq with severity. فصل في الطلاق قبل الدخول. The chapter in regards to talaq before دخول. وإذا طلق الرجل امرأته ثلاثا قبل الدخول بها وقعنا عليها. When a man divorces his wife 3 times before making dukhul with her, then all 3 will fall upon her. Right? لأن الواقع مصدر محذوف. Because the thing that falls is actually the dropped off masdar. لأن معناه طلاقا ثلاثا, because its meaning is طلاقا ثلاثا على ما بيناه, as we have explained already. In other words, when he said أنت طالق ثلاثا, you understand it? So the thing that falls is that dropped off mahzur, which is طلاقا. So طلاقا ثلاثا, and therefore it only falls when he says ثلاثا now. So when he says ثلاثا, then all 3 fall together. And in a غير مدخول بها, when all 3 falls together, then 3 will occur. But if it falls one after the other, then only 1 will occur. You understand it? In a غير مدخول بها. فلم يكن قوله أنت طالق إيقاعا على حدة فيقعن جملة. So his statement أنت طالق was not a separate giving. So they all will fall together. So the word أنت طالق, the talaq doesn't fall there. Rather, it falls with when he says salasan. You understand? Because it's actually talakan salasan, right? فإن فرق الطلاق بانت بالأولى ولم تقع الثانية والثالثة. Then if he separates the talaq, then she'll become bind with the first talaq, and the second and the third will not fall. You saw the difference, right? وَذَلِكَ مِثْلَ يَقُولَ أَنْتِ طَالِقٌ طَالِقٌ طَالِقٌ. And that is the likeness of this, that he says you are divorced, divorced, divorced. You understand it? So then she'll be bind with the first, and the other 2 will be null and void. Right. لأن كل واحد إيقاع على حدة إذ لم يذكر في آخر كلامه ما يغير صدره حتى يتوقف عليه. right? Because each one is a separate giving, right? And this will occur, this will happen when he doesn't mention at the end of his speech that which will change the middle of the speech. So much so that the middle of the speech is pending or is suspended on what happens at the end of the speech. You understand it? Hatta yatawaqqafa alayhi. Because look, if he says, Anti talikun salasan inshallah. So that inshallah they cancel the whole three talaqs. You understand it? Because he said something at the end of the speech which changes the middle of the speech, right? But in this case here, there's nothing at the end of the speech that can change it. فَتَقَعُ الْأُولَى فِي الْحَالِ. So the first one will occur immediately. فَتُصَادِفُهَا الثَّانِيَةُ وَهِيَ مُبَانَةٌ. Then the second one comes upon her while she's already separated from him. So it's like a talaq falling on a strange woman. وَكَذَا إِذَا كُنْ. No, if he says anti talikun salasan, then three occurs. Yeah, you missed that portion. We just mentioned it. Anti talikun salasan, then three occurs. You understand it? But if he says anti talikun, then the first one occurs, second and third one doesn't occur. Right? وكذا إذا قال لها أنت طالق واحدة وواحدة وقعت واحدة لما ذكرنا أنها بانت بالأولى. Likewise, when he said to her, you are divorced one and one, then one will occur because of what we have mentioned. What did we mention? That she becomes buying with the first one. So by the time he said the second wahida, she was already out of his nikah. وَلَوْ قَالَ لَا أَنْتِ طَالِقٌ وَاحِدَةً فَمَاتَتْ قَبْلَ قَوْلِهِ وَاحِدَةً كَانَ بَاطِلًا. Right. And if he said, you are divorced once, right? Then she died before his statement once. Then it is batil. There's no talaq. Because with the talaq falls with wahidatan, right? And not with talik. But before he could say wahidatan, she was dead. You understand it? So which means no talaq. So by the time he gave the talaq, she was a dead person already. You understand it? لأنه قارن الوصف بالعدد. Because he has joined the talaq with a number. فكان الواقع هو العدد. So the thing that falls is the number. فإذا ماتت قبل ذكر العدد فات المحل قبل الإيقاع فبطل. So when she died before he mentioned the number, then the mahal is lost now. In other words, she is a mahal. She's the mahal, right? The one that's receiving the talaq. The mahal is lost before the giving of the talaq, so it becomes batil, right? وكذا إذا قال أنت طالق ثنتين أو ثلاثا لما بينا. And likewise, if we said you are divorced twice or thrice because of what we have explained. You understand it? That she died before him saying ثنتين or ثلاثا, right? وهذه تجانس ما قبلها من حيث المعنى. And this here coincides that which is before it from the aspect of meaning. Right. This one here, anti talikun wahidatan, فماتت قبل قولي واحدة, and ثنتين وماتت قبله ثلاثا توافي ما قبلها وقوله وإذا طلق امرأته ثلاثا قبل الدخول بها. Right, when he divorced his wife thrice before making dukhul with her, right? من حيث الدليل وأن الواقع فيهما جميعا. Yeah. So these examples here, they conform to the previous examples. From this aspect here, that the talaq falls with the number. That's all it is. The only connection it's got with the previous masail is that it falls with the number and not with the word talik. Leave it till there. You understand it? All right. Yeah, all will fall, yeah. So it just coincides so that so it fell once he said salasan, and here it falls once he says wahidatan. But the outcomes are different because there she was still alive and here she's dead.